This week in mathematics, we're going to learn about multiplying integers. There's a few rules that you need to know about before we can begin. The first rule, you've probably heard me talk about the first rule in class, or have heard me talk to other classes about this first rule, and we often call this rule two wrongs do make a right. It's probably the only time you'll ever hear that two wrongs actually make a right. In regards to the first rule, a negative times a negative will always give you a positive. What does this rule look like in mathematics? Here's some examples for you. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives you a positive 6. Negative 8 times negative 3 gives you a positive 24. Negative 6 times negative 5 gives you a positive 30. Remember that we often don't put the positive sign in front of the numbers. You don't have to do that. I did it just so that you could see what it looks like. Now it's time for you to try it. Let's look at this first example. Negative 2 times negative 7 gives you what? As you can see from our two wrongs do make a right, negative 2 times negative 7 gives you positive 14. And again, remember, just 14 without the positive sign is perfectly acceptable. All right, you ready for the second rule now that we've got the first rule mastered? Here we go. All right, the second rule. When you've got two signs that are different, the answer is always going to be negative. A negative times a positive is a negative, and a positive times a negative is a negative. The position doesn't matter. When we were adding and subtracting integers, the position was very important. In multiplication, you can breathe a sigh of relief because position does not matter. Let's take a look at some examples. Okay, in the first set of examples, we have the negative sign in the first position. Negative 3 times 4 equals negative 12. Negative 4 times 3 equals negative 12. In the second set, we've got a negative sign in the first, and we have one in the second. Let's see how that works. Negative 5 times 3 equals negative 15. 2 times negative 9 equals negative 18. Again, it doesn't really matter what position. If you have a positive and you have a negative, when you multiply, your answer will always be negative. All right, guys, time for you to try it. You ready? Here we go. Negative 6 times 5 equals, if you said negative 30, you would be correct. Negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. A negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, here's another one for you to try. 7 times negative 3 is, if you guessed negative 21, you would be correct. Positive 7 times a negative 3 gives you a negative 21. Have fun working the worksheets this week. I would love it if you could submit each worksheet every day, and instead of waiting until Sunday to submit everything, that way I can check your work and give you the opportunity to check any mistakes. This is a little harder than some of the things that we've worked on. So again, I'd love for it to be able to see all of your work every day. Have fun.